Welcome to the Boxing Talk Show.
Fair but firm.
With the Hall of Fame boxing referee.
I'm Joe Cortez.
And co-host John Zamel for all of Las Vegas.
Come on, guys. Let's touch them up. 3 fight. I'm Joe Cortez. Fair but firm.
Hello, welcome to the Fair but Firm Show here. Monday morning in Las Vegas, Nevada, the boxing capital of the world. My co-host John Zimmel and I will be talking to you today about last weekend's results and, of course, what's going on with the boxing up in the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
And, of course, we have behind us, we have the great Roberto Duran, Manos de Piedras, Hands of Stones. Roberto Duran, we'll start off with him talking about his great fights that he had in the past with Tommy Hearns, with Sugar Ray Leonard, and Marvin Hagler, some of the great fights. And, of course, I had the honor of refereeing Roberto Duran about three or four occasions. It was an honor refereeing his fights. And, of course, there is nothing like the great legends in boxing. Talking about legends in boxing, Roberto Duran, I must say he's really a person that has brought so much to boxing and still does today. Wherever he goes, the fans are always coming up to him like back in the days when he was welterweight and middleweight champion of the world. Lightweight, he was more recognized as the lightweight champion, John.
Oh, yeah, he's maybe the greatest lightweight ever.
Yeah, exactly. But he went up to fight as heavy as super middleweight.
Super middle.
Against Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah, you weren't the referee in that fight, but I believe you were the judge?
I was the judge of that fight. I believe I gave Duran 3 or 4 rounds of that fight. It was freezing cold out here in December, I believe December 7th.
Yeah, it was.
At the Mirage.
The day that will live in infamy.
Yeah, it was the first main boxing event at the Mirage Hotel, and it was an honor working it. I was not a resident here yet, but I remember it was so cold out there. I was.
You thought you'd never move here. You were
I had long johns underneath. It was so cold.
And you're from New York, where it's actually cold.
Yeah. But I mean, it was outdoors, and I remember Sugar Ray Leonard.
People don't think it gets cold here. It gets pretty cold here.
It gets cold here in December.
Yeah.
But he also, I remember, in between rounds, the cornerman would put the blanket from his room. They put the covers from his room, and they put it in between rounds.
Mirage Hotel.
Yeah, they put the blanket on the body in between the rest period because that's how cold it was.
I bet.
And but Roberto didn't put nothing on. That's made a difference.
Well, he had 168 pounds on him. He was fine. He probably stayed warm. That's an extra 38 pounds from what he's used to.
Yeah, exactly. It's unbelievable.
That's crazy. I think it's kind of a shame because boxing purists, boxing fans, like hardcore boxing fans, they know that Roberto Duran might be one of the greatest lightweights of all time. He was Pacquiao before Pacquiao in his ability to go up and down weight classes and carry his power and his fighting ability up and down. But it's almost, when I say it's a shame, it's sad that most casual fans, when you talk to them about Roberto Duran, they pretty much only know him as No Mas. And that's incredibly unfortunate because, what a single low point in an otherwise illustrious career. I want to ask, being that you refereed him on multiple occasions, judged him, on the one occasion, you've known him throughout, his entire career and now post-career. If you were to sum up who he was to someone who never knew boxing, if they said, tell me about Roberto Duran, how would you sum him up?
People will say he was one of the greatest of all times. And if you said the top 15 in the history of boxing, Roberto Duran.
Pound for pound, absolutely.
Yeah, he's definitely in there.
Absolutely.
But, coming in 33 pounds heavier than he did for the first time when he won the lightweight championship, to come in at 168, that's a big difference,
My God.
And I remember when I refereed him when he won the middleweight championship against Iran Barkley.
Which is insane.
At the middleweight division. Nobody even gave him a shot. He was 35 years of age.
Why would you?
And here he came in there and he beat Iran Barkley. I was watching Iran Barkley when he fought Tommy Hearns. You watch those fights on YouTube channel, you'll see, you fans never saw that fight. These are wars that were out there.
Yeah.
Roberto Duran fought the best. I remember Roberto Duran getting knocked out by Tommy Hearns, then comes back. Iran Barkley knocked out Tommy Hearns. And then Duran beats Iran Barkley.
And Duran lost to Hearns. You never know, man. That was what was so fun about that Four Kings era.
Yeah.
Is you never know who was going to beat who. You never know what was going on. It's one of the most fun eras in boxing ever.
You're talking about that era, Sugar Ray Leonard fighting Marvin Hagler. Some of the best, and Duran fighting, oh my God, he fought William Joppy, which I refereed.
Oh yeah.
He got stopped in that fight, and he was just an amazing fellow fighting some of the great ones out there.
Who do you think, if you had to pick? If we're talking the Four Kings, if we're going for it, Hearns, Hagler, Leonard, Duran, Who do you think if you had to make, you know what I mean? If you're ranking top fighters of all time, who would you put number one out of those?
I got to put Hagler up there, you know.
Yeah.
Because
number one, I love that. I love.
You know, I did Hagler. I got to put him up there. But then people have a question. I say, well, Joe, maybe Duran was great.
Well, Duran pound for pound has that argument.
He was great at 135 pounds. When he started moving up in weight, that's when he had some more difficulty. Even though he became middleweight champion of the world, nobody gave him a shot at the age of 35. The referee that fight with him in Atlantic City. 3 feet or so that day, and I remember Roberto Duran for one of his better fights at 160 pounds, but then coming back and fight Sugar Leonard at 168 here in Vegas. That was unbelievable.
When you talk about the greatest fighters ever at 135, there's a lot of people who put Roberto Duran right at the top, and there's a good reason for it. A lot of people also think that Floyd fought his best fights at 135. They weren't his most famous, but he seemed unstoppable at times. You have a guy out there right now who's going for his third belt in the 135-pound division, in Vasily Lomachenko.
Yeah, we're going to talk about him in a little bit, but he definitely won it. But you also cannot forget Carlos Ortiz.
Of course not.
Who was a former lightweight champion from Puerto Rico, from New York, who was really a great lightweight champion. That was before Roberto Duran.
Yeah.
But that was one of the great ones. Of course, there were so many great lightweight champions, but Carlos Ortiz, Roberto Duran, to the top on my list.
Absolutely.
Yeah, now, of course, you got Lomachenko.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think he has an opportunity? Now, he said before that he has said recently, I think he's getting tired, man. He's already 33 years old. He fought 400 amateur fights. I know he's only 13-1 professionally, but he's got, 5 belts already? He's going for, something like that. He's going for now his third belt in the 135-pound division, and then he wants to fight Kami for all 4. And he said that once he's got all 4, he thinks he's going to retire. He says he doesn't want to go. He says 140 is too big for him. And you can see it at 135 when he got knocked down by Linares that 135 is even stretching it. He's able to, get over that hump by being so unbelievably skilled. But there's no question that, your body has limits. Everybody can only go to a certain, a certain weight class.
Right.
And so I guess my question is, is there something Lomachenko could do to be, if he beats Luke Campbell, who's not, unfortunately, just not a name, and then fights Richard Kami, who's also not that much of a name, but it's the 2 other best guys at 135.
Right.
I guess what I'm asking is there anything he can do with the current competition out here to be considered in that same greatest of all time conversation when it comes to 135 pounds?
Well, he would be in a competition with one of the best ones in 130 in boxing in general, because
sure.
he came up the ranks. But he's only got 14 fights on his belt.
Agreed.
And that's going to be something that they're going to say, well, if he retires from boxing now, are they going to consider him one of the great ones, but only 14 fights on his belt? That may be a little asterisk on that list. If you say only 14 professional fights, I can't put him as one of the top ones, because he really didn't fight that many fights.
Yeah.
When you fight 30, 40, 50 fights, now you're talking about you fighting the best out there.
Of course.
But who are the best that he fought in those 14 fights?
That's a serious question.
He got beaten by Orlando Salido. And I was with Orlando Salido this past weekend in Sonora, Mexico. And I asked, by the way, I wonder what happened. How come there was never that rematch? His answer to me was, Joe, I asked for $1 million. All they want to offer me was $200,000. And that's the reason why the fight never took place.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think it was more behind the scenes, because Lomachenko got beat by Orlando Salido.
He did.
And his promoter said, we don't want to take that risk with that rematch. If he loses again, there goes our golden goose,
Absolutely.
The golden egg. So,
yeah, absolutely, man. No question asked. No question about it. As great as Vasily Lomachenko is, he was beat by Salido. Salido was, you hear a lot of people talk about, the low blows and this, and this. But the fact of the matter is he wasn't ready for the pros. A lot of his fans make excuses, but he never has. He said, I wasn't ready for that level of pressure, those kind of tactics. He was so used to amateur fighting. This is a guy who's went 396-1 in his amateur career, and his one loss he avenged not once, not twice, but 3 different times.
Right.
So, if it was up to him, I'm sure he'd like to fight Orlando Salido 5 more times.
Yeah.
But why, from a promotional standpoint, why do that? Why not continue to climb the ranks the old-fashioned way, go back to the drawing board? And obviously they did the right thing, because now we're talking about him in the greatest of all time conversation with 14 fights under his belt.
Yeah, and he's talking about retiring. Now, he's only 33 years of age.
Something like that, yeah.
But something like you say, he's 33 years of age, but he got to some long career. He's been in boxing since he was a teenager.
Won 2 Olympic gold medals, man.
Yeah.
This is a...
And he probably said, I've had enough, but I think 33 is still kind of young for him. And I think that if he continues going, where he's going right now. Stay and go to 135. He's at 135. He got the WBA, WBO championship. They're going for a WBC championship, but I forget the IBF championship is still out there too. So,
yeah, I mean, that's what Kami has, and that's what he wants.
Yeah, so once he gets that Kami fight, he gets the IBF title, then unified belt, WBC belt. We're talking about all these different titles. You fans out there wondering, like, wow.
Alphabet.
Alphabet soup, so many centuries. How can I even remember? It's just like
it's not always easy.
It's just like remembering the alphabet backwards.
It's basically like that, yeah.
It's so difficult. But I mean, our fans out there know that Lomachenko is definitely one of the better fighters out there. But with only 14 fights, it says a lot about, is he really one of the great ones?
Serious question though. This weekend he's fighting a guy who looks like about a head and a half taller than him.
Yeah.
Luke Campbell is significantly taller than him. I saw a picture of him at the face-off. It looked like the picture of Juan Francisco Estrada standing next to Eddie Hearn this weekend. It just looked like two guys on different planes. Yeah. As skillful and incredible as Lomachenko is, do you think he could have some trouble with? We saw the trouble that he ran into with Linares. Can you see him having some trouble with Luke Campbell? Luke Campbell's a good fighter.
It's possible. Luke Campbell is up in age too. He's no spring chicken. But I mean, he can definitely upset him and surprise the boxing world because of his height and his experience. So, if he can keep Lomachenko at a distance and keep him, where he would not let him come in. But Lomachenko is really a smart fighter. He knows how to cut the ring.
He really is.
He knows how to bob and weave. He's a real smart fighter.
They call him the Matrix for a reason, man. The guy's they also call him high tech. I mean, his ability to use footwork and angles, and he really is. There's a reason why they teach, they show videos of him in boxing gyms, because you want to teach your guys to find those angles. I mean, he's they say work smarter, not harder. He fights smarter, not harder. He's just amazing. Yeah. Luke Campbell said this weekend, though, that if he beats Lomachenko, he'll be as big as Anthony Joshua. And I know that's a silly hypothetical, but what do you think a win like this would do for Luke Campbell's profile? I guess just more in the casual fan world, do you think people would? I mean, people don't really know. I mean, casual fans don't really know who Lomachenko is. He doesn't have that big of a profile outside of the boxing world. Yeah,
well, what's going to happen is people are going to say, well, he's 33 years of age. He got big. He's already old. And they're going to say he was really nothing because he only had 14 pro fights.
They'll start bringing up Linares. He got knocked down by Linares. We saw the cracks in the armor, blah, blah, blah. Linares got knocked out in the first round, his very next fight. Yeah, you're right. The excuses kind of line themselves up at that point.
And they're probably ready for it. I mean, that's why they're going to be saying, if he gets beat, what if? Then the answer is...
You already start doing that.
People start already throwing darts.
Yeah, that's what they do. They kind of line themselves up in this one.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Hey, speaking of Anthony Joshua, I saw a question posed this weekend that really excited me, and I couldn't wait to talk about it on this show because it was interesting.
Right.
It's not a long one. It's not a long subject because we got a lot to talk about today.
Right.
What do you think is bigger? Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz 2, or Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder 2? Like, what do you think has more hype? What do you think has more significance, both historically and in the boxing world today? And which one are you personally more excited about?
Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm more excited about, honestly, I really like to see Anthony Joshua fight Andy Ruiz. I'd like to see that rematch because I would get that out of the way. It was a legit. Was he just lucky that night? I'm anxious to see the rematch. Then after that, I'd like to see him fight Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
He could rectify that loss and say, okay, you know what? It was a bad night for us, an off night, and now I want to fight Deontay Wilder. Then we'll see what happens with Deontay Wilder.
I've been going back and forth ever since it happened, ever since the Ruiz-Joshua one happened. It's all I talk about all the time. I mean, it's all I think about all the time is what's going to happen in that rematch. It's something I've been borderline obsessed with. If you had to pick a winner right now, because we'll go back and forth on this, who would you pick?
I got to go back with Andy Ruiz.
Do you?
Yeah, because I think that Andy Ruiz really is hungry. Is hungrier. I mean, he's kind of like not accepting the rematch with the kind of purse they're offering him. He said, I beat him, I knocked him out. Come on, I should be on the A side. But apparently it's still Joshua's
That's
on the A side.
That's the way rematch clauses work.
Yeah, but they're going to see what happens. I think that Anthony Joshua has to really prove himself on the rematch.
Also, he's kind of a style nightmare for Joshua, right? Yeah. Joshua being the big stand-up, fight from the outside fighter he is, going for the kill, but with very limited head movement, versus a guy who just throws like flurries, bam, 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 bam. I mean, it's tough to see him dealing with that volume. But I could also see Anthony Joshua winning this fight, and I really could.
Yeah,
I don't see it. It's
a possibility. I mean, I've seen great fighters come back from Ali came back from a loss from Joe Frazier, And I've seen so many other great champions. Floyd Patterson got knocked out by Ingemar Johansson, came back and knocked out Ingemar Johansson. There've been so many champions.
Lennox Lewis did it twice.
Yeah, Lennox Lewis, yeah. He
with Rahman and McCall.
Yeah, right. He got knocked out twice and come back and knocked out the opponent.
It's just amazing, man. I mean, Joshua can definitely do it. My one concern that I don't see people bringing up enough, but it's something I've been thinking about a lot. Do you think Ruiz could possibly get distracted? I mean, this is a guy who went from living, you know what I mean, in a small house with his family, and just all he did was train, to now he's on Jimmy Kimmel's show. He drives a Rolls Royce. He's doing all this. I mean, he was on on Cribs. He bought a house. I mean, it's very similar to when Roberto Duran beat Sugar Ray Leonard the first time.
Right.
And he went home, and all of a sudden, he's fat and he's happy and he's partying, and all of a sudden he gets rushed into the rematch because that's how rematch clauses work.
Yeah.
Do you see that being a possibility in this rematch?
It's possible, but I think Andy Ruiz is a little smarter. I think Andy Ruiz knows that he can be lined up for that. I had a little talk with him during right after this fight.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I talked to him about. So briefly, I said, listen, you know what? Keep yourself focused, keep yourself grounded, and you can go places. He said, I'm going to come back in better shape than I was the first time around. But I think that, some of these fighters, you're right, it goes through their head. You get
distracted. What did was it? I forget. Joe Frazier or somebody really famously said it's hard to get up and run at 5 a.m. in silk pajamas. It just gets harder, man. I mean, it's harder and harder and harder. The more that's what makes guys like Floyd Mayweather who keep that work ethic despite the amount of money they make. I mean, that's that next level. I mean,
well, Andrew Ruiz told me that he was going to get in better shape. He was going to get himself a nutritionist and not eat those 20 hamburgers a day.
That's what he said, but.
But he's going to get a nutritionist and get in better shape. And he promised me, he said, Joe, believe me, you watch, I'm going to come back. I know you're going to be ready for me. I'm going to be extra ready.
I hope so.
And I believe him, so let's see what happens there with
One thing I do want to say is I hope we get the best version of both. I don't want to hear any excuses out of either camp following the rematch. And I mean, not just out of either camp, but out of either fan base, out of anything. I want to see the two of those guys at their absolute best in Saudi Arabia on that night. And I honestly, I could not be more excited for that fight.
I remember when Juan Manuel Marquez fought Manny Pacquiao the first time that he got that draw, of which I referee. But then they fought the second time, and Manny Pacquiao got that fight. Then they fought the third time, Manny Pacquiao got it again.
And a lot of people felt that one was controversial.
And Juan Manuel Marquez kept saying, I'm going to do the best. I'm going to come back. I know I can beat this guy. I know I can beat him. That's why they fought 4 times.
Oh, my God.
Then the 4th time, he knocked him out with I would say it's a lucky right-hand punch.
Yes,
because it was a punch.
Aren't they all lucky punches? I mean,
if you hit the guy with one good punch, I don't care if you can see the target, you're going for it, you knock him out, that's a lucky punch, because that's the punch that did it.
Exactly.
Regardless if you
just like Anthony Joshua said about Andy Ruiz, he hit me with a lucky punch. It's like you can attribute all your knockout wins to a lucky punch if you wanted to. That's heavyweight boxing.
You can't say lucky in the sense that it was.
It wasn't a fluke, but it was. Yeah, of
course.
Happened. You hit him.
It happened. You hit him with a punch. You hit him with the punch I was aiming for. that target.
No luck about it, man. I tried to hit you on the temple. I hit you on the temple.
Yeah, that's it. He caught him with the punch. But I tell you, but boxing is that way. People always discuss this, and you and I can talk for hours about this.
We do, man.
And that's why we want to share with our fans out there.
Exactly.
We got all people all over the world watching this and say, you guys talk about boxing. We're just trying to share with you our opinions. Mm-hmm. That's our opinion. You have your opinion. We respect your opinions as well.
Absolutely.
So it's not just that is what we're saying. We're not the gods of boxing.
Exactly. We don't pretend like everything we say is right. No. It's just how we feel about it.
Exactly. But I have a lot more experience being in the game for so many years.
Obviously.
And being with all those fighters, I can talk with a little bit more authority. And I can talk because I've been in the ring with a lot of these fighters that we're talking about. And it's an honor because I say something I got to pinch myself. I can't believe I'm in this business with so many great fighters. And it's just something that I really enjoy. I love it with a passion. And, it's in our blood,
Absolutely, man. It's beautiful when you got that. When you love this game, as all of our fans know, anyone who's watching a Facebook Live video of two guys talking about boxing at 2 o'clock in the afternoon probably has the same love for this game that we do, and it's just the most beautiful thing in the world, the sweet science.
Yeah, we got our friends out there, Randy Gordon up in New York with Sirius XM Radio, my buddy Jerry Cooney, and so many other guys out there. We got Fight Hub TV. Another great group that I think is doing a great job.
They do a lot of great videos. Same with Fight Hype. They're both good.
Yeah. So so many friends out there in boxing, all these commissions and sanctioning bodies around the world that are always able to talk to us about, talk to me about boxing. And they bring me up. Over this past weekend, I was over in Sonora, Mexico, with a fighter, Dwayne beaman, who lost to Gallito Estrada by a technical knockout in the 9th round. I thought the referee did. I was in a corner with Dwayne beaman, and I think that he fought his heart out. Not enough experience, but he gave Gallito a run for his money. And the fans, there were like 15,000 fans there Saturday night, and they were very pleased with the outcome. And I told beaman to shake, wave to the crowd because they'll love you. They love you fought with like a heart of a lion, heart of a champion. You really came out there to show that you want to take that title, but it'll happen next time around.
Was that your first time seeing Estrada live?
It was first time me watching him live.
And I know you weren't exactly observing him. You were, working for, in the other corner. But I guess because he's now on so many pound-for-pound lists, being that he finally beat Rung Visai after, in the second try and finally made it to the top of that mountain.
Right.
Do you see, what's next for Juan Francisco Estrada? Those divisions don't get the attention they deserve.
Right.
And it's because, people don't, but a lot of it is that there just isn't the amount of competition there that there is at a lot of other divisions.
Right.
So I guess my question is, you were just there with a top 10 pound-for-pounder. What do you see next for his career?
Well, I see, he's really up there. I mean, he's young, he's talented, he can punch. He had like 27 knockouts.
Oh, yeah.
Of his wins. So
and at that division, that's amazing.
Yeah, it is nice. And, he's chance to stand, he's in a good position. He's a super bantamweight. So there's not that much happening at that weight, And that's the sad part about it. But I like to see him, down the line, go up and weight a little bit. He's so young.
He's just so small.
Yeah, he's about 5'7".
He's small.
Yeah, he's kind of small, but he can really punch. He can box. He has great defense as well.
Absolutely.
We also had the other fight last
we had
Saturday
the big
night.
fight here.
Kovalev.
In Russia. All credit to Anthony Yarde flying to Russia to fight Sergey Kovalev. What an amazing fight. Yarde showed how game he really was. I mean, he really put on a heck of a fight, but Kovalev showed that he's on a different level, and he has been, and he will continue to be. He's not the Kovalev he was when he fought Andre Ward the first time or even the second time.
Right.
But he's still an absolutely phenomenal opponent and a current light heavyweight champion. There's a lot of talk, and I mean a lot of talk. I mean, too much smoke. There's, they say when there's smoke, there's fire. At this point, this looks like the Amazon rainforest when it comes to this. At the end of the day, Canelo's option, Canelo's team has made it clear they have Triple G, Callum Smith, and Kovalev narrowed down. But at this point, you don't hear Callum Smith's name anymore. And Triple G has been, now he's fighting Derevyanchenko.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much going to be Kovalev because he beat Yarde in this next fight. How do you see Kovalev-Canelo going? Your first impressions? Even as old as Kovalev is, he's still a light heavyweight, 175-pound champion.
Yeah.
I mean, this might be Canelo's toughest opponent yet.
Well, Andrew Ward says, he said after the fight, he said, Andrew Ward, Kovalev still has a lot of punching power.
Absolutely.
He still fights like a champion, and he's something to reckon with. So Andrew Ward is telling you that, believe me, take it from one of the experts out there.
Well, that guy went, he
went twice.
Right, yeah, went through that Lion's Den twice.
Yeah, so he knows, he says Kovalev is still a very...
He also said he thinks that he's about 70% of the guy he was in his prime. So you kind of wonder, I mean, this is what I said with Manny Pacquiao versus Thurman. Can 70% of Manny Pacquiao beat whatever percent we're getting of Keith Thurman? And we obviously saw he could. I mean, he wasn't the same Manny Pacquiao of old, but still 70% of Manny Pacquiao is better than all but maybe one or two welterweights in the world?
Yeah, more than the average, that's for
exactly. Sure. So I guess that's the question we're asking about Kovalev.
Campbell going to come the same way. He's going to show that the fans that he's got a lot. He could surprise Canelo. So
yeah.
I mean, Canelo's taking a big risk going
That's what I guess what I'm asking. Yeah, it's a big risk, right?
Going to 175, yeah. Light heavyweight. But then again, Roy Jones Jr. went from middleweight all the way up to become heavyweight champion of the world.
Beat John Ruiz.
John Ruiz. So, anything is possible,
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
It's boxing.
Yeah. But that's the boxing. And I can tell you that there's a lot in boxing coming up for the remainder of the year.
Oh, my goodness, yes. We had a little break just the last couple of weeks. We've been talking kind of about what's been going on. There hasn't been a whole lot of big action, but this week we got it with Kovalev. This next week we get it with Lomachenko. And the second half of the year is slated to be maybe the best year in boxing since we started doing this, which has been, a little over 2 years now.
Yeah, a lot of young talent and a lot of things happening in the heavyweight division. A lot's going on in the middleweight division, welterweight division, super middleweight division.
Yes.
The lightweight division. I mean, there's a lot going all around in all different weight classes. So I would say it's a good year so far.
Yeah, I mean, what would you say the fight you're most looking forward to going into 29? Now, remember, you got Porter Spence, you got Fury Wilder, too. Yeah. You got Ortiz Wilder too.
Yeah.
You've got AJ, obviously AJ Ruiz. You have all these other big fights. Who would you say is the fight you're most looking forward to going into this second half?
Well, I tell you, I believe that I would say the heavyweight division, Ruiz and Joshua.
There's a reason.
Yeah, and I want to see Devin Haney now. He's fighting September 13th, Madison Square Garden.
Abdullayev.
Yeah, so I'm going to be with him with that. I'm part of his team, so I'll be up there for that Madison Square Garden.
I love that.
September 13th, Friday night. That'll be on DAZN.
I'm looking very forward to the doubleheader between Spence and Porter because not only are you getting finally, how long have we been asking for this, a unification fight in the welterweight division, but you also have Durrell versus Benavidez. Benavidez is hungry.
Yeah.
He's exciting. He's one of the most exciting fighters in the sport, and he's going up to try and get his belt back that got stripped from him. And I'll watch both those fights, 100%.
It's going to be real good for the remainder part of the year. And fans, I want you guys to know that we're here trying to give you the best we can. I also do other shows during the week. I have the Joe Cortez show. For you animal lovers, yes, I'm involved with animals. I love animals. We're going to have talking about a foundation, Poppy Foundation, talking about cats. I love animals, and I know there's millions and millions of fans out there. You fans, I know you love animals. And you watch, it's going to be one of our better shows because so many people love animals. They're going to be part of my show for tomorrow on the Joe Cortez show with Dylan, and we're going to have Linda and Rose be part of our show. They're the individuals that are involved with the Poppy Foundation, and I think it's a great show. So don't miss that tomorrow on the Joe Cortez show. And of course, we have the Las Vegas Sports Talk show with TC Barton on Sundays. I do a little bit of that. Of course, I love doing my show with John Zimmer here at the Fairfield Firm shows on Mondays. We try to bring you the best we can from all walks of life and keep you all informed. As you guys know, I'm fair but I'm firm, and that doesn't mean that the show is going to be over because I'm fair but I'm firm. But I'm saying that's the kind of guy I am. I'm fair but I'm firm. Everything I do in life, but my heart always goes out to the fans. I want to give you guys the best. I love to share with John Zimmer and my team to what we're doing with boxing and what we do with our shows. We're just trying to get it out there because we know that boxing I have a passion for boxing. That's in my blood. John loves boxing. He loves baseball. He loves hockey. John loves it all. He's like another TC Martin. They're real sharp. They know the business, and I'm proud to have him on my show. And eventually you're going to see the John Zimmer show. It'll be like John Zimmer running his own show because he's got the talent. That's why I got him on here with me. When I recognized him at the beginning when I first met him, I said, man, you got talent. I want you on my show. Here we are, getting him to a level where I think he belongs to be on top with some of the best out there.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. I also want to mention, since we're talking about our show, I want to make sure we tell everyone to please share and subscribe. If you're one of the people watching us on Facebook Live right now, as I always say, I love that we go live. It's one of the most fun experiences we have because, we might mess up, we might slip, but that's part of the fun of being live. Yeah, it's like being radio. It's just part of the deal. But those of you who work or do, during this time and don't have time to watch us live, you can always catch us later on Facebook or on YouTube if you like to watch us. If you don't like to watch us or you want to listen to us while you drive, you can always go on iTunes. You can go on Spotify. You can go pretty much anywhere. Audio Boom. We're on a lot of networks that I don't even know about, if you want the truth. Anywhere that has podcasts, we're on it. So please make sure you subscribe, please make sure you share, and please make sure you continue to watch because we love everything we do. We love talking to you guys, and we really are excited for the rest of the year coming up.
And if you guys have any ideas, any topics you want us to talk about, in boxing, any questions you may have, write them in. Just put them in so we can answer them the best we can. And we promise you we'll do the best in our show with the Fairfield Firm show. And like I said before, in boxing, I tell fighters, protect yourselves at all times, keep your guards up at all times, and protect yourselves at all times because life is that way. We have to always be on our toes to make sure we do the right things in life. But we're not perfect, but we're always trying to give good advice to our fans out there, and especially for the boxing families out there, stay in good shape because we don't want any tragedies in boxing. We've seen too much of it throughout the years, and most recently we had 2 or 3 fighters that passed away. And our condolences to them and their families for their loss. And I just think that if you keep yourself on your toes, keep yourself with your guards up, you'll be okay. Remember, guys, I'm fair but I'm firm. Touch them up. God bless. Take care.